Jai Shri Gurudev, good morning one and all. Our next video is on thrust bearing. This topic is in module 5, lubrication bearings. We completed what is lubrication and in the bearing we completed only general bearing. Now move on to the next topic is a thrust bearing. So what do you mean by thrust bearing? First you should know about thrust. Thrust is nothing but an axial force. The forces acting along the axis of the shaft is known as a thrust. If we give a support to the thrust, that is called as a thrust bearing. The bearing which gives support to the thrust is known as thrust bearing. Some of the example for thrust bearings you can see in the footstep bearing or in propeller shaft of the bearings such as ship, airplanes, steam turbine, etc. Now, what are the different types of thrust bearing? The thrust bearings can be classified based on the location of support given on the shaft. If the location of the support give at the end of the shaft, then it's called as a pivot bearing. If we give a location of the location of the bearing or give a location of the support at anywhere in the length of the shaft, then it's called as a collar bearing. And then pivot bearing again further classified into based on that support or the shape of the support at the end of the shaft. It may be a flat, it's called as a flat pivot bearing. Another one is conical shape, it is conical pivot bearing. Similarly for collar bearing also, the flat collar bearing and conical collar bearing. The collar bearing again further classified into it may be single collar if only one collar is used. Another one is multi collar bearing. You can see the sketch here. Now you can see that now so what type of load is acting on the shaft here? Axial force acting on the shaft, that is called as a thrust. If you give a support to the thrust, okay, that is called as a thrust bearing. Again thrust bearing can again classify into two types. One is pivot, another one is collar bearing. In the pivot, if we give a support at the end of the shaft, what shape it is? A flat pivot bearing that you can see in the data handbook 24.49. At the end of the shaft, it is in a conical shape. It is give a support at the end of the shaft. In the wash shape is conical shape. It's called a conical pivot bearing. Is 2 alpha is the angle of the cone, or alpha is the half angle of the cone. Similarly, go for collar bearing. Collar means on the in the shaft throughout the length of the shaft. Anywhere you can give the a support in the length of the shaft is called as a collar bearing. It may be a single collar bearing, and here it is a what shape collar, it is a what shape, it is a flat shape, it is a flat collar bearing that you can see in the figure 23.50a in the data handbook. Similarly, conical bearing is a conical shape. It is, as you know, 2 alpha is a angle of full angle of cone, alpha is nothing but half angle of cone, right? These are the, again if you see only here one collar, this is single collar bearing, you can see the number of collars along the length of the shaft give a support to the axial force. Again the what is the load acting here is the axial force, right? Then we go for design heat. Then I want to go for design of thrust bearing. How do you consider here? There's a design of thrust bearing is based on, one is uniform wear theory, means as you know that you conducted in the third semester metal testing lab wear test. In the wear test, the amount of metal is removed is constant. That's called uniform wear theory. It is. Then pressure into distance, the radial distance, that remains constant. Other one is uniform pressure theory. The pressure acting on the specimen or on the component is constant. These are two important uh, criteria you should remember when you go for design of thrust bearing. Then after the what are the notations you can use in thrust bearing before going to design of thrust bearing? Where d1 is the diameter of the shaft in pivot bearing, and for collar bearing d1 is the diameter of the collar. D2 is the diameter of hole in the pivot bearing, and in collar bearing it called the diameter of the shaft. So slightly changes when you go for solve the problem. Dm is the mean diameter, and I is the number of collar. L is the lead. As you know, the lead is pitch into number of studs. If number of starts is not given, means nothing but threads, then take it as a single start. Then MT stands for frictional torque. Due to transfer to give a support due to frictional how much torque is occurred. The what is the loss of torque it is resistor. This is a Newton meter. Now power, as you know that power is equal power in kilowatt W into V by 1000 in kilowatt, or one more formula is torque into speed divided by 9550 in kilowatt. Now how do you get this power formula? If you want to familiar with that basic formulas, power is equal to work done by time. What is work done? Force into distance divided by time. The distance by time is nothing but velocity. Force into velocity or load into velocity, that gives power in watt, or in kilowatt they just divide by 1000. And another formula, when you go for the rotary components, power is equal to torque into angular velocity. As you know, the angular velocity is 2 pi n by 60. Then t into n, 60 send the 2 pi to the denominator, 60 by 2 pi. 60 by 2 pi will get 9.549, you will get round of it into 9.550. Again divide by 1000, we will get 9550. The power is equal to T into N divided by 9550 kilowatt. And now after this, N is nothing but speed in RPM. P is intensity of normal pressure in Newton per meter square. If this value is not given, assume P is equal to zero point 0.5 megapascal. S is nothing but slip. T is a torque in Newton meter to transmit the power. V is the velocity in meter per second. Remember again this equation, L into N, 1 minus S divided by 60, where L is nothing but lead, N is the speed in RPM, S is nothing but slip. Now VR is the rubbing velocity, that is pi dm into N divided by 60 in meter per second. W is equal to total axial load on the shaft, that is in Newton. Now what are the symbols we use? Mu. Mu stands for what? Coefficient of friction. How do you get this equation? Is a 83.8 VR to the power of 0.5 divided by P to the power of 0.67. That's equation number 24.125. Where here P is nothing but actual intensity of pressure in Newton per meter square. As you know that 2 alpha is equal to cone angle of pivot, half is cone angle of half cone angle, and tau s is nothing but shear stress in Newton per meter square. Assume if this data is not given, assume tau s is equal to 60 MPa. Next, now what are the things you remember? Better to go for remember this table. Is a first one column is type of bearing, is a pivot or collar, in that flat pivot or conical pivot, and collar bearing only flat collar is there. Then go for uniform wear theory. Design is based on two criteria. One is uniform wear theory, another one is uniform pressure theory. Next one is a frictional power. Now according to this only you go for design it. Remember this formula. What is the W? Is the total load acting on the shaft. For uniform wear theory, the wear theory pressure into distance constant, that is half into pi into P into D2 into D1 minus D2, that is equation 19.83. Mean diameter is D1 plus D2 divided by 2, 19.85b. The frictional torque is mu into W into D1 plus D2 whole divided by 4, that is D24.114. These are the formula: total axial load, mean diameter, and frictional torque. After that, then you go for determine what is the frictional power, that is go to MT into N divided by 9550 in kilowatt you get. Similarly, go for uniform pressure theory. This is a total load acting on the shaft, that is equation number 24.112. Mean diameter 19.85a and frictional torque is 24.113. This is for uniform pressure theory. Pressure is constant. Then you go for conical pivot. The total axial load and mean diameter is same as that previous one, except the frictional torque. You can see that the frictional torque, this is divided by sine alpha, is a half cone angle will come to the picture. Similarly for uniform pressure theory also, in compared to the previous problems, so previous formulas, only the mu m suffix t, that is sine alpha, will come to the picture. Then come to collar bearing. is a flat color bearing only we use here. Again, for uniform wear theory, this is same formula what we can see the flat pivot curve, same formulas used, except in the total axial load we use one more term is called I. I stands for number of colors. If only one color is there, I is equal to 1. For multicolor, I is equal to 1 2 3 4 up to n. Remaining formulas are same. Even for uniform pressure theory also it is similar to the these formulas, only W is equal to multiply I value. Then below that see that for collar bearing, then you can see that for collar bearing you can see the sketch in the collar bearing. What is D1? D1 is the outer diameter of the collar, D2 is inner diameter collar or diameter of the shaft, right? Now in that you can see that D2 is equal to cube root of 16 cube root of 16 into T divided by pi into S. How do you get this formula? By applying a pure torsional equation T by Jp into G theta by L, that is good, tau S by R. From this you consider T by Jp into tau S by R. From the substitute Jp value pi dt the d2 cube divided by 32 and R is equal to d2 by 2. Simplify, finally get d2 is equal to cube root of 16 times of t divided by pi tau s. Now from this second formula d2, once you calculate d2, then d1 is equal to 1.5 times of d2. Now how do you calculate coefficient of friction? You can already see that in that notation in the symbols. Mu is equal to 83.8 Vr to the power 0.5 divided by P to the power 0.67. This is equation number 24.125, where here is the rubbing velocity pi dm by 16 to pi dn by pi dm into n divided by 60 meter per second. Now what is the go for design procedure? First you consider total axial load, then mean diameter, then frictional torque, then immediately determine last one is frictional power. Yes, what are the assumptions you made? First assumption is number of stars or number of thread is equal to 1. The intensity of pressure is 0.5 MPa. As you know, the 1 MPa is equal to 1 Newton per millimeter square. Here 1 MPa is equal to 10 raised to the power 6 Newton per meter square. All dimensions are you consider as a meter. Force is in Newton. Here in SI unit you consider. Then shear stress, the tau s is equal to 60 MPa, 60 Newton per mm square. Then uniform, then if it, what type of theory we will go for design it. If your theory is not given based on the theory, then you assume it is uniform wear theory. Pressure into R is equal to constant. Now we'll go for solve the problem. Design a multicolor thrust bearing of a propeller shaft of a 400 kilowatt marine oil engine. The engine makes 300 rpm. The propeller has a pitch of 2.5 meter and slip of 30%. The permissible bearing pressure is 0.5 Newton per mm square. Assume one is uniform wear theory, second one is uniform pressure theory. Then you go for design it. So what type of bearing is given? Design a multi-collar thrust bearing is given. Is a collar bearing, collar thrust bearing, another multi-collar thrust bearing of a propeller shaft of a 400 kilowatt. Power is given of marine oil engine. The engine makes 300 rpm. The speed is given. The propeller has a pitch 2.5 meter. Pitch also given and slip also given 30%. The permissible bearing pressure is also given 0.5 Newton per mm square. Now assume these two theories. Now write the given data is a multicolor thrust bearing of a propeller shaft. Now you can see the multicolor thrust bearing. This is a collar bearing. Another number of collars are there. That is called multicolor thrust bearing. Next, power is given, speed is given. This is the operating condition. Pitch is given. Then slip 30% divided 30 divided by 100, you get 0.3. The intensity of pressure is given 0.5 Newton per meter, current into Newton per meter square. Based on the wear theory and pressure theory, I want to determine design that number. What is the number of collar? What is the diameter of the collar? Diameter of the shaft? Then friction, coefficient of friction, and friction loss, power loss due to friction. And okay, assume this number of starts is not given 1. Number of starts or threads is not given. Take it as 1. Then shear stress is equal to 60 MPa. Now after the write the given data, now what are the other data? Now first calculate the velocity. Velocity is equal to lead into speed into 1 minus s divided by 60, that is in meter per second. Remember this formula. Then lead is nothing but what? Pitch into number of star. Number of stars is not given, that you assumed it is 1. This lead is also 2.5 meter. Next, substitute those values into the velocity. Now you get velocity is 8.75 meter per second. Then other data is load. I want to calculate load, that is, you know, the power equation. Power is equal to N is equal to W into V divided by 1000 in the power is in kilowatt. Now N is equal to 400 kilowatt. Substitute V value and we'll get W is equal to 45.714 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton. Then diameter of collar shaft and collar head. As you know, the diameter of the shaft is dt is equal to cube the root of 16 times of t divided by pi into tau s, where t is nothing but torque in Newton meter. We know that how do we calculate t? T is only unknown. Then tau s will go for assume it. Torque in Newton meter. Then power is, how do you get torque? We know the power equation. N is equal to T into N divided by 9515 kilowatt. Now substitute N is in 400, T, N value, this T is unknown. Then we'll get T is equal to 12.733 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter. Then assume that shear stress is equal to 60 Newton per mm square or 60 MPa. This is the value. Then back substitute, then you'll get D2. D2 will get 0.1026 meter. Now round off this value, take it as 0.110 meter. This is the diameter of the shaft, collar shaft. Then the outer diameter of the collar or collar head is D1 is equal to 1.5 times of D2. Then substitute, you will get D1 value, right? Next, these are the other datas. What are the other datas? We calculate V, W, then D2 and D1. Now we'll go for apply the for uniform wear theory. Pressure and radius is equal to constant. And what is the total axial load? You know that equation 19.83. Here load is known, P also we know, D2 also we know, D1, D2 also know. What is unknown is only I, number of collars. When substitute, you'll get 9.62. The number round off into 10 collars. Once you get a round of 10 collars, now that is P is the intensity of the pressure. Now actual intensity of pressure is obtained by substituting I is equal to 10 value into the equation number 19.83. Now we'll get the again same, use the same formula, but P is unknown. Here take that as, then P will get actual intensity of pressure is 0.481 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton per meter square. The total axial load over, from that you calculate a number of collars. Then mean diameter, as you know that for uniform wear theory, mean diameter is, this is the formula we use, dm is d1 plus dt2 by 2, 19.85 b, and substitute you'll get mean diameter. Next, third one, frictional torque, mt is equal to mu w d1 plus dt2 by 4, 24.112. Here unknown is what? Unknown is mu, right? Now how do you calculate mu? You know the coefficient of friction, that formula is 24.125, 83.8 Vr to the power of 0.5 divided by P to the power of 0.67. Again in that which is unknown is Vr is unknown, then Vr is equal to pi dn by 60. Then substitute that dm value, mean diameter, and then you'll get 2.16 meter per second, where what is the P? P is nothing but actual intensity of pressure we calculated earlier. Then substitute those values. Now we'll get mu is 0.0192. Then calculate, back substitute to the equation, mt is equal to 60.342 Newton meter. Then power loss due to friction is equal to, know the formula, mt n divided by 9550. Then substitute that the frictional torque and the speed, and then you'll get the power loss due to friction is 1.897 kilowatt. Similarly, we go for uniform pressure theory. When pressure is remains constant, then total axial load, we use this equation 19.86 b. Again you calculate number of collars for uniform pressure theory. Then you'll get I is equal to 7.9697, round off into 6 collars. Next, from that you calculate actual intensity of pressure is obtained by substitute I is equal to 8 into the equation number 19.88. 19.88 at B. Now we'll get the p value. Is p value also 0.481 in 10 raised to power 6 Newton per meter square. Then calculate the mean diameter of collar. The formula is different for uniform pressure theory. This is 19.85a. Back substitute will get mean diameter of the collar. Then frictional torque mt is equal to this formula used. Again here 24.112. Again here is the mu is unknown. Again we use the same formula mu. Equation number 24.125. Again Vr is unknown. P is actual intensity pressure. Again we calculate Vr. This formula will get 2.183 meter per second. Then back substitute this Vr, P is actual intensity pressure to this equation. Then you will get mu is equal to 0.0193. Then calculate frictional torque. Back substitute all those values to the frictional torque equation. You will get 61.466 Newton meter. Then frictional power is equal to formula, remember this, mt into n divided by 9550. Then substitute, you will get frictional torque is equal to 1.931 kilowatt. Now by saying that this is the frictional torque due to uniform pressure theory. This is the frictional torque due to uniform wear theory. From this, so more power loss in uniform pressure theory, less power loss due to friction in uniform wear theory. And try to solve another problem what you can give here. Yes, thank you for watching this video. That completes module 5. One question, the lubrication, then bearing, in the bearing, journal bearing and thrust bearing. From this topic you will get one complete question. Another question is anti-friction bearing, right? Thank you for watching this video.